Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media. Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. Today's episode takes us to a lush tropical paradise and a long-established civilization, India. In the southwest corner of Nabarangpur area of the Odisha Province, people have lived alongside of some of the most dangerous animals in the world. Forget the cobras, as if they aren't scary enough. Wild elephants, tigers, leopards, and bears roam the forests with no regard to human life, and gigantic crocodiles hunt along any given body of water. In the jungle areas, villagers never get a reprieve from these threats, but city dwellers find at least some. The geography here is forested hills intermingled with farms, logging operations, and nature preserves. The rainforest here is thick with acacia and eucalyptus trees, with a thick lower canopy of various vines, bushes, and shrubs. Lurking in the shadows cast by such a forest are very dangerous predators indeed. On Wednesday, May 2nd, 2018, taxicab driver Prabhu was driving some clients back to their village. The couple in the back of his SUV had just been married in the town of Kotapad and were just setting off on their life together. Prabhu was from the town of Papadahandi, which is probably the funnest name of a town I've ever pronounced. As the taxi bumped along the road, Prabhu felt nature's call and pulled the car over to the side of the road. The newlyweds watched as he hiked a short distance up the barren slope and suddenly stopped in his tracks. He raced back to the car and told them he'd seen a sloth bear drinking from a small pond just beside him. He said he wanted to get a selfie with the bear, as it seemed as if it were too injured to run away. The newlyweds objected to Prabhu's plan, but he was already scampering back up the slope to get his amazing selfie. As he got to within a few yards of the sloth bear, he flicked his phone to open his camera app. The bear wasn't moving much, and Prabhu could see blood seeping from a wound somewhere on the bear's body. As Prabhu tried to get himself in the picture frame with the sloth bear laying behind him, he moved the camera and adjusted the focus for just the right shot. Now only a few feet from the bear, Prabhu could see the bear lurch toward him and tried to take a step to get away. Unfortunately, the bank of the pond was more slippery than Prabhu had expected, and he fell to the ground. The slip allowed the injured bear just enough time to attack him. Now, sloth bears are not the most terrifying bears in appearance. They almost look comical with their poofy hair and funny nose, but those adorable characteristics hide a very powerful and dangerous animal. They have a characteristic cream-colored V or Y on their chests and are only about 5 to 6 feet tall and weigh somewhere between 200 and 300 pounds. Their main food sources include fruits, ants, and termites, the mounds of which they tear apart with their powerful front legs. Their nostrils can close completely, allowing them to suck the insects when the bears raid nests. Their snouts are short but powerful, but their long, curved claws look like horror movie creations. As Prabhu tried to regain his balance, the sloth bear tripped him to the ground and began a vicious assault. Using its long, sharp claws, it ripped his flesh and pulled him toward its mouth. It drove its canines through Prabhu's flesh in painful bites that made him hold still, as it hurt more, pulling away from the angry little bear. As it bit him, it tossed its head in that trademark flesh-rending move that all bears do to their victims. From the back of the taxi, the newlyweds began to yell and scream at the bear. They told Prabhu to run and get away from the bear, but its claws and jaws held him fast. They watched the man wrestling with the bear for several minutes before working his way back to his feet. The bear still had a hold of him and wouldn't let him go. Suddenly a stray dog appeared and barked at the bear. It ran up to the bear and nipped it while it mauled Prabhu, but the angry bear paid no mind to the dog whatsoever. In a powerful version of bear judo, the sloth bear slammed Prabhu back to the ground and inflicted severe injuries to his head and neck. His legs kicked, and he yelled in pain as he was gashed and slashed, but this bear would not relent on its aggression towards the man. Within a few minutes, a small crowd had gathered near the scene. Bystanders watched and yelled, trying to frighten the bear away, but it had made up its mind it was going to kill Prabhu. Someone from the crowd began to throw sticks and rocks at the bear, to no avail. Eventually, after several more minutes of painful struggle, Prabhu's legs stopped kicking. His body lay still in death's repose. The onlookers now could see the horrible wounds to his body. On my Patreon account linked below, those pictures and some video footage are placed there because they wouldn't pass YouTube standards and can't be included in this video. If you'd like to see them, click on the link and visit my Patreon. They are graphic, and yeah. Authorities were notified of the attack, but took the better part of an hour to arrive. The entire time the newlyweds waited, the bear continued to maul, bite, and claw Prabhu's body. It was severely injured and clearly could not dash into the forest, so it apparently took out its frustrations on the man's corpse. When officials finally arrived, they darted the bear, and it lay down, as if it was asleep. They were only then able to recover Prabhu's body. The sloth bear was taken to a caretaker, and its wounds were treated. It stayed in the caretaker's compound while it healed. There was public outcry after this attack, and even before it. The villagers wanted the government to do something about the high and increasing numbers of incidents involving bears. The only action that I could find that was taken by the government was that they granted compensation to his family to help them with his loss. Forest Ranger Dhanarjaya Mohapatra stated that Prabhu died on the spot, indicating that there was no way to save his life. The nation of India has a twisted relationship with its citizens dying while taking selfies. Even the U.S. Forestry Service had to issue warnings to people who were continually approaching wild animals for selfies, disregarding the danger they pose. They also shake their heads at the irony that most people who pose for selfies with wild animals are frequently animal lovers. Prabhu's death was the province of Odisha's third human fatality, while the person was taking a selfie with a wild animal. The prior December, a 50-year-old man was crushed by a wild elephant while taking a selfie, and in the same month, a young man was also crushed by an elephant while taking a selfie with a wild animal. U.S. officials want to drive home the message to Americans that although seeing a bear in the wild is exciting, they are still wild animals and can be very dangerous despite appearances. They're unpredictable and capable of inflicting serious injury or causing death in only a few moments. Wow, if that wasn't one of the strangest episodes we've ever had on this channel, I don't know what is. Can you name one that's even weirder than this? After reviewing the details of this episode, I have a few questions for you. Why on earth do you think Prabhu tried to get a selfie with an injured sloth bear? Is there any way you would turn your back on a wild animal for a photo? Does India or Australia have more dangerous animals? Have you ever had a nightmare where you were mauled by a bear with funny hair and a wiggly nose? I'll be glad to read and respond to your thoughts, so please post them in the comments section below, and let's talk about it. Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.